Turn this down. Right. Just getting everything set up here, everybody. If it's logging in, give me a couple minutes. We'll start talking some new release stuff for this month. Ain't much. And then we'll hit up what everybody thinks about the National. Figure I'd come live and do this instead of doing a video in case anybody had any questions on anything that I could help them out with. So give me about 2 minutes and we're going to start rocking here. I just threw two cards up on the screen. They're not for sale or not. They're just something to look at instead of a blank background for right now. Reminds me to try to type in here and make sure everybody can type in chat again. Okay, cool. I know a couple days ago we couldn't type in chat. Don't know why. It was weird. So, out of all these products coming out, only the one on Friday I do not have any of. We'll talk about what Panini's doing with their new releases along with Tops. So you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff going on. I actually was on a Zoom, never done Zoom before. Made an account up and it was kind of weird, but uh, talking with a bunch of other either shop owners, breakers, people would sell at shows, stuff like that. And, we were just talking mostly about a lot of the newer product coming out, how it's been slashed, about the National. Trying to think here. It's pretty much about it. Bunch of older people all griping, really. We'll get it rocking here in about a minute. I do have a break for this weekend. I just got to put in and noticed. Well, for one, like product is so scattered between distribution centers right now. It's not even funny. They'll tell you it's in stock, and the next thing you know, they go to look, it's out of stock. So everybody's just buying everything up right now. It's really insane out there. Um, but once I get it in Friday, I'm gonna have to go to the UPS store pick it up because they didn't mail it to my house. It'll be a box of 2019 museum baseball, which that has a lot of bang for the buck in if you pull the right stuff, and along with some clearly authentic boxes. And then what I'm going to do is run the same way, and then I'm going to take everybody in the break and give away something at the end. So even if you hit, you can still hit at the end as well too. So that'll come out Friday, probably somewhere afternoonish. I'll get the break put into the store, but it will not be available until I have product in my hands here at my residence. So I don't like pre-selling stuff anymore, just because of the fact of what went on over the last couple of weeks. And I'll get into that. Well, I'll get into that here really. So basically, what happened is in case nobody's really uh, tracking, if you go on a lot of sites like David Adams, Blowout, etc., if you go try to look up any of these new releases, they're pulled them from their stores. Reason being is this past week, both Tops and Panini cut, they said they cut production and everything like that and allocations, but basically everybody lost 10% of their Bowman. So if you had 10 cases, you now have 9 cases basically, which that's a lot of cases, but it's just the easiest way to do for math. Panini, on the other hand, has really gone way off with their allocations. So Mosaic has been cut immensely to everybody. I don't even know if I'll have Mosaic in. I probably, hopefully, will. But from what I'm hearing about the cuts, it's been drastic. Some people are saying they were cut 80%, which I think is a little bit of exaggeration onto it. I could see 10, 20%, something like that. Along with that, Panini said that this is going to affect the rest of the year's stuff. And of course, everybody's blaming COVID-19, which you can understand to a point. Along with that, they said their 2021 basketball stuff is going to be handled a lot different at the distribution level. Well, I don't know what that means. If that means they're going to cut production, if they're trying to spread the wealth more instead of all the big people getting it all the time, and small people not getting hardly any. I have no idea. So it'd be quite interesting to see this next year how this all plays. And what it is on a pre-order is where any uh, shop breaker, anybody gets it, is where their profit is at because you can get it at a lower cost. But by doing that, you only get a certain amount. So even like your huge people that go through a lot of inventory might only get, 5, 10 cases per distributor and stuff like that. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this all pans out over the next year. What's up, Derby? But I figured let everybody know ahead of time in case you're like trying to go on and pre-order product. A lot of places they don't know what they're getting in because of these cuts. I do know my Bowman because that was given to me, and I think everybody now knows their Bowman. But as far as Panini cuts, nobody's going to know at all. So just be on the lookout for that. I mean, we were talking NT basketball, and everybody knows NT basketball is like the premier big basic, I want to have it. It's really grown over the past 2 years, I would say, since 17-18 release. What's up, David? Um, I have NT basketball coming in. You can't break it. It's impossible. If you look at it, whether you do it by box or by case, a case of it I think is running somewhere between 12 and 15,000, and that's before release right now. So I mean, to do that, you're starting to look at charging like $4,000 just for the Pelicans and stuff like that. So I won't be breaking mine. I'm gonna hold him, probably just throw in the closet and stuff like that. But be on the lookout for any of you guys that do pre-ordering stuff through Blowout and David Adams. They might be hitting you guys up with refunds because a lot of them are not getting what they thought they were getting for allocation in. But I figured I'd hit that up before I start this, just so everybody can kind of gauge that. My whole thing was with this Zoom thing that I did with everybody was I don't know really consider sports cards as a hobby anymore. It used to be a hobby, back in the day. And what a lot of people forget, because you got all these guys just come in and start doing sports cards the past couple years. So if you guys think about it, 80s it was booming, beginning 90s it was booming. And then remember about 96, 7, it was like that stalemate for a while where it was, not a whole lot of card collectors out there. And it really didn't start coming back till, I don't know, probably 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there. But, it's become more of a business for everybody than the collector, which is a shame because this is always meant to be a hobby out there. So I'm trying to look to see what I can do. I'm not going to say I could fix the market or nothing like that, but how I can make things a little bit more cheaper and entertaining for everybody on here that's still going to want to do sports cards, 2 years from now. I have no idea. I think next year's basketball class is not going to be as hyped up as the last two have really been. maybe even three. So maybe prices come down a little bit. Who knows? But the overseas market's going to dictate that more than anything. All right. Now away from all that depressing stuff, let's talk about these new releases. Let me pull them up here real quick. Man, I'm telling you what, it's been raining out here and that pollen, everything's just like repollinating out of here. Derby knows what I'm talking about for sure. So this week you got Chronicles football. It's coming out. They've never done Chronicles football before. It's always been Chronicles. Was it basketball and yeah, just basketball and baseball. So first year for it. To me, it's a shame that it's really come down to a lot of the stuff that the way that this has happened to the card market. It's nothing bad. It's good. I mean, it's booming. As everybody says, it's booming. Oh gosh, I just sound like Antonio Brown, booming. But at the same time frame, a lot of stuff's out of reach for people. It really is. I mean, imagine if you bought a $400 box of Topps Chrome Sapphire, okay? And the best card that you pull out of it's 20 to 25 bucks. And I was talking about this with a couple other people on the phone today, too. It's almost to where you want to do repack products, but you got to be skeptical on whose repack you get into because there's repack products that you get under 50% of your value in the box. It's almost better to go out and buy a box of hobby. So, really, really different. Boom. Uh yeah, the first, you know, it used to be good with some stuff I like. I with Panini, I don't like because anytime they come out with something new, nobody's really big on it. Look at Panini One. I think Panini One football is a great product. It doesn't hold any value. Why? Because everybody's like, nope, nope, nope. I have some sapphire. I got to Graydon House now, so hopefully it comes back good. I mean, I wish I'd have bought it earlier on. I'm not gonna lie, but like Chronicles football, and this is the way I feel about it. Chronicles football was that product where they had all this product before, and they just jumble it all in together to shove it all down somebody's throat at once. And that's the way I feel about it. Not saying it's a bad product, not saying it's a good product. It's one that I don't really like because it's a lot of lower end product they're not making anymore, but they still have all designs and stuff, and they just throw it into one product. And let me go this here. I'll show you what I mean by this. There we go. So look, you got Score. Score is in there. We all know Score football. Probably not. They even have their own Score football hobby, but this is Score update. Then you got Crown Royale. I think is a great product to begin with. It could stand alone versus throwing in a product like Chronicles football because the patchwork and those silhouettes are sick. No way around about it. Just great product. Then you got Panini Signatures, which is another set that's inside this. I think it's built off of 8 or 9 sets. I only got 6 of them on here, but this is just 3 of them here. Nobody ever really got into Panini Signatures. Nobody's real big into Score. Why? Because you got sticker autographs on it. And I know a lot of people try to stay away from sticker autographs, but sometimes that's what you got to get if you like the product. I think your on cards mostly going to be like your NT and your flawless, really. So that's just 3 types that's in Chronicle football, and I'll pull up this last one here now too. Gridiron Kings, Dynagan, never even heard of it, and Gala. Gala was actually started off as a basketball product, so now they're making a series into football too. What we got there? Pull one print plate. This. Hey, that's good though. You pull one-on-one printing plate. I mean, a lot of people don't like printing plates anymore. I think it's a great thing to have. You're never going to have anything graded on it. It's always going to be dinged and all this other stuff on it, but it's a cool piece to have. I'm a person that likes bat knobs and like bat barrels that are one-on-ones and stuff like that. So when I see them, I pick them up, for a reasonable amount. Because if I'm going to collect, and this is where it's going to go from collect to invest. If I'm going to collect a product, I want to get stuff that I like. Like that 86 Topps trade set I'm building out of PSA, that's a collection for me. I'm collecting that. It is an investment down the road, of course, like anything that I collect. But I'm not trying to get that quick. I guess you can say flip into it, where a lot of people are trying to hurry up and buy and get a flip price onto it and make a couple bucks. Me, if I'm going to invest into something, I'm going to make sure it's going to hold its value over time. And when I look at a lot of products through the years these guys are all released, especially Panini, a lot of them don't hold the value. You got to wait 90 days after release before Panini allows a distributor to drop the price. And when they do, it gets dropped. Except minus basketball. Okay, basketball just always going to hold up there for some reason. Oh, I love bat barrels and stuff. You will always see me on the hunt for them. I don't care if it's a cheap one, expensive one. Long as it's like tier one, and that's probably the only Panini product I'm gonna like. That it has a bat knob in it or like a bat barrel. I'll buy it because even though it says Panini on it, it's just that 101 like mystique to it. Same with like the cut autos and stuff. So that this is what Chronicles is this year. I don't know the price of what everybody's selling it for, to be honest. I know the bottom dollar you're allowed to sell a box for is 120 bucks. I have no idea what everybody's going to push it up to. Will it reach 250, 300? Will it just be 180? Because back in the day when I first started doing this, like if you had a pre-order, we'll say it was 120, say it was $120, you're probably getting it for like, I don't know, 100, 105 bucks. So then you would look at like Blowout, they were selling it for all of a sudden like 140. There was your profit margin there, 35 bucks. Now profit margins are just disgustingly big. And I'll touch with that with Bowman and Mosaic because I know what Bowman's was selling for, but everybody pulled it because of their cuts. Oh, nice! It already came to you. That's cool as hell. Oh, it is Wednesday too. Yeah, most of you guys should be getting your stuff in from the breaks. I just thought about that. My days are all messed up, completely messed up. I really thought today was Tuesday for the longest time. All right. Mosaic basketball. Now, you already seen retails come out. Hobby. Okay, let me rephrase it. Yeah, retails already come out. We still have hobby and what they're calling a retail product, but it's really a fast break. So, this is coming out. The hobby's on the 20th, and I guess you call it the fast break or whatever version of it is going to be. They're calling it retail, though. Is the 22nd of this month. This has been cut. Nobody knows what the cuts are. Couldn't even tell you. I've heard all kind of different things from people. I haven't heard from the big three distributors what it's going to be yet. So hopefully we still get a couple boxes of this stuff. I'm at it ends to with Mosaic. Do I just open it or do I just throw it in the closet and wait a year or two and say, hey GTS, how about you buy this back at like $1,000 a box now? And use that money to invest into something else. It's really to the point to where a lot of us are all thinking that. And the example I was using was like NT basketball. It's same with Mosaic. If you're one of those guys who've been breaking for a while and you're breaking heavy in products, and say you get 5 cases of NT or Mosaic in, and you get that on pre-order price, you probably could take 1 case, sell it back to the distributor, and pay for your other 4 cases. And then you could either, break those, do whatever you want with them. You can open them, then grade them. But trying to find a profit margin on, reinvested into it at max value afterwards is just, wow, it's huge, huge, huge. It's a different game changer now with the market out there. So Mosaic, everybody's pretty much seen these because you had retail come out already, although they're saying that some of them are hobby exclusive, like the gold, the black, and the white. So when you see coming up here, I think I have in a slide, it's really weird because they're calling it hobby exclusive, but then you'll see it before where it's going to say it's a different exclusive in another product. So it kind of makes you wonder what they're actually doing here. I do like the Mosaic black versions always. I think they're really a nice looking card, just harder to grade. Though the whites are really nice as well too. So these are the other part with the hobby. You're going to have what they call swaggers, which look pretty cool, kind of like a Mosaic looking checkerboard on the outside. The stained glass, I really like a lot with it. I'm not too sure if stained glass is going to be one per case again, like they were doing with other products before with stained glass or not. And then you got the center stage. So more to come on that because not too many people know about it yet. What they're going to do. So when you start looking at fast break, now look, it says fast break exclusive, fast break gold, fast break black. Well, how's that just exclusive in fast break and not in hobby? Exclusive should mean it's just in one product, but it's why it's a little bit confusing. But they do have a pink version, which is only going to be in your fast break, from what I'm seeing offhand. And then you're of course you're going to have your fast break autographs too. That's always going to be exclusive, whether gold, black, or just a regular version onto with rookies, and then there's stars as well too. Of course, they're only going to show you the better stars on this, and they're not going to sit there and show you that you're going to pull like a freaking Ricky Rubio auto out of it or something like that. So this does got the 20th to 20th on the hobby, 22nd for the fast break. What I've seen on prices before it was pulled was Mosaic was somewhere between $500 and $600 a box. I don't know how many people are going to spend that on a hobby box. To be honest, I think that's really high. And I'm guessing Fast Break somewhere going to be around $350 a box. Just if it's going to mimic how Prism and Optic did, it'll be a little bit lower on the price. So, right, that's Mosaic. Now you got Panini Contenders Draft Picks Football. This comes out end of the month, I think the 29th off the top of my head. I do know this is $250 a box. I've seen it being sold for. Pretty expensive for just a draft box. You'd expect something like a little bit cheaper, probably about $1.70 a box normally. So the prices have really vamped up onto this. Pretty much doubling the price on pre-order if you were lucky to get them on pre-order on that. And you're going to be looking at the same type of, your regular tickets across the board. I kind of like the barcode across the top, which does make it stand out a little bit onto it. But when I'm looking at the edges and stuff onto this, it's going to be a hard grade because of where the coloring is, especially we know on all this. They usually will have some whiting on the edges and corners onto it. They still got cracked ice this year. They'll never go away. Cracked ice has always been something out there. So I do have a couple. I think I have like 2 boxes coming in. I'm not a real big college uniform person, but we'll probably just open those up, see what's in them. Same with the regular. They just give you some variations of the tickets there, going across the board. Although there is a college fame ticket. I don't remember that being in one before. I could be wrong. I don't really break a whole lot of college stuff anymore, so that is there. Moving up to the last release of the month that I know of is Bowman. Bowman Baseball. Everybody got cut 10% across the board. From my understanding was Topps is not producing as much as they normally do. So if you look at 10% as a whole, that's a good bit. I don't know if that was due to that Bowman first product that came out or what, or if they're going to be pushing more into retail than what they did in hobby originally. It's just one of those guessing points onto it. What's up, Chat Town? How you doing? You are right. It really does. The college stuff will plummet unless you get one of them big hits. I'd say like 10 or less. When I first started breaking Contenders Draft, it was Watson and Trubisky and Mahomes' rookie year, so that would have been 2017. We did 2 cases of it, and we did it because nobody knew what teams they were on yet at that time frame, and we did last name first letter breaks onto it. In one box, this is no joke, a 101 Watson, a regular Watson auto, and I think it was Trubisky out of 10 came out of it. But we did really well into it that year, and like I told everybody, I would sell them quickly. I know the guy with the 101 Watson did. He got a little over 1,000 for it. That's reasonable. But I'm not real big onto it. I'm doing pretty good. Allergies just kicking my butt. everybody usually hears me a lot. Told me that my voice is crackling. I'm like, yeah, it's just due to the fact that it's everything's just repollinating outside. All right, there's Bowman. So you got Bowman Hobby, and then you got Bowman Hobby Jumbo. Bowman Hobby was around 250 a box last I checked. I know a lot of people pulled it off their websites over this week just due to the drop. Bowman Jumbo was selling at 450 a box. Really, really pricey stuff. I mean, wow. And I know the big one is Witt, which is on here to begin with. And the dude that's on the Yankees, I can't think of the last name, Rodriguez or Dominguez, something like that. Um, and those are your chases out of it to begin with. How well they'll do, no idea. It's just one of those ones where you get them, grade them, hold them for a little bit, and then try to sell them and get stuff good in your collection. Unless you want to really prospect on them, you don't have much invested on it. But in Chrome Hobby, you're only getting one autograph per box. Now, you usually get more color in Hobby than you will in Jumbo. They did add the yellow border parallel this year to Hobby. So that's another one's out of 75. It should be a little bit. I have to look at them because between that and the gold, sometimes there's not much of a difference other than numbering. And I don't think it's going to be before where it was. Oh, wait, yeah, base. Okay, so yeah, base paper is going to have the yellow border. That's what it is. Okay. I was wondering if it was going to be a chrome or not. There we go. You do got a new insert spanning the globe, one every 6 packs. Same thing as always, rookie of the year favorites. You got the atomics in there, superfractors, scouts 100. And then this is what you're going to be looking at when you go into the jumbo boxes is 3 chrome autographs per box versus the one, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Is that for one for like 250, or you can get 3 in a box for 450. To me, if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to go for the 3 autographs in one box. Really, that's the only difference between both of them at all. I've seen that. They are big. Jason Dominguez. I knew it was one of the names. I think Bowman is just going to be way out of price for a lot of people this year. Even last year did not even start off this high. It did about end of the first week of release. It hit some of these marks plus more, but it's really all these products are just skyrocketing right now. I wish I should have bought some of them when I had a chance of the first Bowman boxes. I think they're like $700-800 a box now or something. It's something insane, even maybe even more. But the thing was, there was no autographs in. I was hoping it wasn't going to be like that Bowman repack stuff that came out late last year where there were no autos. And I think there was like a graded card in there or something. That's why I was kind of skeptical because everybody's starting to want to get their hands in the pot and they're just throwing stuff together just to, latch on to more money. So I'm usually kind of careful with a lot of the new releases unless it's something that's really going to stand out in front of me. I mean, I went pretty heavy on Panini One. That's probably why I have a little bit of a, I don't want to say hate towards it or something, but with the new products. But I mean, we've opened a fair of new stuff here over 3 years, like Court Kings when it came out, Chronicles. Oh, football had a bunch of them. Every time I turn around, it was like a different football product, saying it was going to be the next hot thing, and it wasn't. I'm trying to remember the one product. It was expensive too. And now I won't even touch it when I see it come up. I can't even think of all the names to them all. Yeah, Dominguez is supposed to be the hot stud for the Yankees. I know that much. And but at least last year you had Wander Franco, Robert, whatever you want to call him. Julio Rodriguez was in it. Those are the three that are like really sticking out at me right now. I can't even remember who else was. I'm trying to remember. I think Seth Beer was Bowman Chrome, if I recall right. But those are your new releases for the month. Like I said, the only one I do not have is Chronicles of Football. I'd even try to get into it. I just didn't want to just chase one set that I like out of it all, which is Crown Royal. Um, the rest of them are just a bunch of stuff they throw together into there. And in a case, you might only get two, three, maybe at the most of those patch cards from Crown Royal. And to me, it's not worth it for a chase that big, especially for, I think they were pre-selling at like 120, 130 a box, somewhere around there. And they all thought Wander Franco was the rock star last year. And I mean, he hasn't even played a game. I would think he made it past double A, to be honest. Bowman is the 29th of the month. That's confirmed. Bowman is the 29th. So 2 weeks from Friday. And I do have Bowman coming in. Man, no, I don't have COVID. It's my throat is really dry from the other day. I went out there and was pulling out these weeds that are growing in between my rocks in my backyard, and they were like, what do you call them? Buttercup flowers and something else that was growing out there, and that pollen just tore me up. No matter if I take an Allegra or whatever else is, man, my eyes just are like burning from it. But yeah, I think I got five hobby and four jumbo, which I'll just sit back with them for a while and see what comes out. I might use them in mixers, what we do and stuff like that, but I don't want to sit there and do one big break with it. And everybody's counting on a big hit and nothing comes out. Last year we lucked out. I just remember two blue Julios came out. And if the guy would have graded them, they're now at like 1,500 a card. I think he sold them at like 350 a card, something like that. But yep, those are the new ones. So I'm gonna pull this off. Where'd it go? Bam. All right. So everybody's tracking the national did get moved from August to December. That should be no different news at all onto it than what everybody's pretty much saying already or knowing already. I, for one, will not go to the national in December in New Jersey, and it's nothing against anything, but it's the time of the year being 1 week before Christmas. At the same time frame, the weather during that time frame. Who knows if it'll still go on? We might have a third round or fourth round of COVID-19 by then, the way they're talking on stuff. So I don't see that actually happening. And if it does, I don't think the turnout's going to be really good onto it because the following week is Christmas. Hey, that's true. He could be Kevin Moss. Derby, I'm with you on that. I don't all the hype on these new guys until they play. I won't even do it. Now, if I would get into breaks with it, and this is what I did with Luca, I stockpiled Luca, and I lucked out on Luca. No joke. And I wanted to stock hold Trey Young too, and I should have. I only kept a few of his, but I lucked out. So I sold 80% of my inventory on Lucas, and I kept the rest. That way, my idea was I sell this, I make my profit off of Luca. Everything else I have, and even if he goes out and does something like I guess illegal, beats his mom or beats some girl up or commits murder, whatever it may be out there, some of these guys do nowadays, or he walks away. I'm not going to be sitting there going, oh man, I have all this money invested in, now it just tanked. But yeah, I have a bunch of Kevin Moss rookies from Upper Deck when I was opening that stuff hunting. I think it was 90 if I remember right. But I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know if anybody's going to go to the national or not. I'm not. I'm going to concentrate on my two shows that I host. One August 15th, the other November 21st. It's local. I've already got. I was supposed to have PSA come out. They're not going to come anymore just because of everything that went on. And I don't want to advertise something that they were like, well, we might still be able to come. I'm like, no, there's no might. You either do or not. You can't sit there and cancel right off the bat. But I think the Nationals so cooped up with everything they spent onto it that they're trying to push something out so they don't do a lot of refunds, which is understandable because now they got all those players that come in and have to do autograph signings. And during that time frame, you got to remember they usually have like football, basketball guys that are current coming in, and now all this stuff will be playing except for baseball, really. There is. I have an invite for that, and it's not what you really think. What? Like right now? Oh, that's crazy. I don't even have anything on here on my phone. My phone's like notorious for popping that stuff off. Hmm. Yeah, all my stuff's all about well, crazy stuff from the news. Huh. Oh, okay. See, this was something else. There's somebody that's holding a virtual thing, and from what I read, what was on his website, he's going to go live and bring the people live onto it. But it's just, I don't know if that, even if you only get like an hour or 2 hour block of there, I just don't see how they're going to do it. Um, I can't remember who it was too, but they sent me a link if I wanted to do it. And when I was reading about it, it just let me see if I can find it now. I'm trying to remember where it was at because I know I deleted the message on it. I was like, nope. Let me see if I put in. Well, that's not a good thing to look up. Yeah, I can't remember who was doing it now too. Oh, I know where I'll find it at. Let me see here. Owners. It'll be here. Let me see if they have it. I think this is who sent it to me originally. Yeah, virtual national show announced. Um, yeah, so he has a YouTube video onto it. I don't want to play because next thing you know, I'll get like hit on this. So let me see if he has a link onto it. No, I mean it's a good idea, but I just don't see how they're going to bring it all together. Yeah, it's sports card investor guy Jeff. There was a website up because I had a link for it. And when I went on there, I thought, I'm like, well, how are you going to put all these on here, like for people to do? It'd be kind of awkward, but it'd be, you're just going to have a camera showing cards off all day long because you have to flip through because you aren't going to be able to just sit there and show a booth at all. I don't know how that will work. I mean, with Zoom last night, or not last night, the other night, where we were all playing around with it, I mean, you could sit there and have like a Zoom thing where everybody could come in if you have one of them upgraded accounts, I guess, and you could sit there and just show cards in front of you and wait till something sells and moves it or something. I have no idea. Yeah, I think that'll be hard. I mean, My idea would be if you're going to do something virtual, you'd have to use a website. So if you guys ever seen cardvision.tv, I think they would be perfect to hold something like that if his servers could hold it, because you could have your own room. And so I'm going to use this just as an example. So up here is like your top left hand corner is your live view. There's a chat view. It scrolls here. And down here, you click on it. It's called a queue, and you can see all the cards that are in there. Something like that, yes. But if you're just using a live stream to show it, I don't see how it would happen, because you could sit there and show the cards for sale, have a chat going on, somebody claims it. I don't know. That's just going to be a hard thing to do. His site would be the one that would be able to hold something like that to where, you have your own room and people come in and look, view, whatever it may be. But it would really be hard to buy at one time. Unless you sit there and like you have your own website too and say, yeah, these cards here are on my website for purchase, and just start flipping through to send somebody to an alternative site to buy. I don't know how they're really going to do something like that, to be honest, and it'd be successful. Because you might have in a room, a couple hundred people watching some dude just chit chatting. But that's who it was. It was a sports card investor. I had to think of the name. I know. I think he goes by Jeff or something like that, if I remember right. I was almost. We were talking about this for local, because a lot of the guys where I'm at, they're not a real big presence social media. Okay, but all they do is they live for the card shows in the area. Now, normally you might have a Louisville show every other month, and you have a Lexington every month, and you have all these little places that might have like 10 tables, 15 tables. Then you have mine that come on 2, 3 times a year. So with the COVID-19 piece onto, it's how are these guys, going to be able to sell cards? I was thinking that everybody just had their own Facebook room or something where guys could just take block times to go live, and you only allow so many to go live at one time, just to sit there and try to show and sell. That's why I'll be honest. I was very fortunate my website was set up that way, where I can just sell cards off of it. Yeah, it takes a while to get stuff loaded up, each product list and stuff like that. But in the long run, it still has its meaning to where you could go on there and buy singles, and I don't have to worry about being at a card show too. But nothing beats being live at a card show, because you get to meet, talk to people, chat. I mean, versus just being maybe live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be, and you get to have that one-on-one more time than you would anywhere else. That is a good thing up there, Derby. And Derby, they also have that vintage one that rolls around like once a year up there too, at the Expo Center. I I've been meaning to go every year, and every year they've had it for some reason, and I think it's in November or October ish. I'm always doing something that time frame by the time where I can learn about it, and I think it's just a Saturday and a Sunday show up there. Yes, it does. But you also got to remember, David, that a lot of these dudes that go to card shows, this is notorious where I'm at. So, okay, Petey Alonso, I'm just going to say that's selling on eBay for 150 bucks. I don't really know what the price is off the top of my head. Um, and that's the Topps regular 150 series thing, so it's probably somewhere around there. So I might mark it at 140. Okay, I'm gonna have some guy be like, "Well, will you take 120 for it?" No. Why would I take 120 when I could make more of that on eBay? And then they'll start trying to haggle with you. Well, you lose eBay fees. I'm like, well, it sells for 150. I'm at 140. And the thing is, I always say, I'm like, if you're from Kentucky and you buy it off eBay, you got to pay sales tax too. And if you're at shows long enough, you usually can pick those guys out real quick when they come to your table, or you know who they are, and they leave very quickly because they're trying to buy stuff at 60, 70% of the cost. Some people, yes, Derby, 100%. There's been many a times where I've walked up to a table and I'll have the cash in my hand and I'll will and deal on something that's pretty big, but I'm usually trying to hit it about 80, 85% of eBay, to be honest. Or what I think it's going to be worth because it's probably like a 101 or out of 5, out of 10, something like that. I try to give everybody a fair thing on to, especially if I see that card now at like 4 months straight at a show and stuff like that. I try to get as much as I can for it, especially if it's for my collection. I'll probably hit about 85% onto it, maybe even 90. Um, but a lot of people are looking at 60, 70%, think it's the old days, and there's so many avenues to sell now that a lot of these guys that are used to haggling you, they don't last long at the shows. And something I do with my show versus a lot of the other ones, I do giveaways at my show. Last time I put 100 little manila envelopes in the thing, I had jersey, autographed jerseys, hobby boxes in them, and stuff like that. You don't have to buy from me. All you have to do is show up, one per person, and you can win something out of it. And a lot of people really like that because you don't see those kind of things unless you're at a big show like down Nashville, because you probably know about the Nashville or Cincinnati shows. They're big. Um, and I got a lot of good feedback off of stuff like that there, but I think it's pretty nice that if you're going to sit there and drive, some of the guys were driving 3 hours to the show, and they're picking up stuff. Why not try to give away some freebies and stuff like that there? I always try to find stuff like that, or I'm one of them people also. A lot of guys from the area will buy so much stuff, and I'll see them at every show always from me. They're spending hundreds of dollars. And those guys there, I don't mind hooking up, but the guy comes by and is like, wanting all the hot cards that right now are, selling at 150 and he wants to spend 120 for now. Ain't going to happen. I would rather that go to one of the guys that I know and I can work out a deal with because he's going to buy a big, massive bulk on me than just ones or twosies. But yeah, we do giveaways at the show. And I think it's been 2 shows now straight I've done that at, where we just give something away. I think one show I took on people's names, went live on ram.org. I think I gave away like a mini football helmet or a jersey or something. And it was just something, thank the people for taking time out of their day to come out, view the show. And, some people stay an hour. I've had people stay 4 or 5 hours at the shows. And just because they just missed that one-on-one time with people out there and going through and searching for cards for sets. I think it's always worthy of it. The only thing is with the last show, I envisioned the way the tables were, and I had so much space in the middle. I could have added the people that were hitting me up late at night. The people were calling me 8 o'clock that night for spots. And I'm like, dude, I'm sold out. And I couldn't put any more tables in there because they already set it up. But when I walked in there originally, I was like, man, we could fit another 20 tables in the middle here. So I'm hoping this time here by letting some of the guys that do comic books, coins, Funkos, and stuff. What's up, Charles? That it'll be probably able to push a max thing of 40 tables in there. I was supposed to have a person from WWE or an ex WWE wrestler come in for it, and they're kind of on the background because of the whole COVID-19 for the August show, and I completely understand. So it'd be quite interesting. I was just going over the new releases for the month, and then talking about the national. Really, seeing how many people were actually going to go if it pops off in December. I am in Kentucky, about 45 minutes south of Louisville. I think like 2.5 hours north of Nashville. Derby will correct me if I'm wrong, because he knows where about I'm at. I became very famous, Charles, off of doing that, actually. The first show that I held in Elizabethtown down here, I had probably 6, 7 boxes of $2, $1.50 bins, Dudes were buying them up. I went to a set up like a week after, and I was in Lexington and guys wanted to buy the whole box. It was funny because say there's like $300 cards, they were offering me like $50 for the box. I'd laugh. I'm like, I'll tell you what, there's like 300 cards in here, and I'd show them. I'm like, I'll tell you what, 200, take it, and they took them. Yeah, January I had a whole it was a two-row box full of Prism cards, and they could have been rookies. Not anybody good, but base rookies and stuff like that. You know, base cards that might have been red, green, stuff like that. A guy came offered me for the whole box. I couldn't say no to it. It does, and you know what? People, I'm setting up when they see me, and they flock like, "Wait, where's the good boxes at?" And I'm like, "They're still in my cart." I'm like, let me get them up here real quick for you. And they just go through them. And a lot of times it's just stuff out of breaks that I get. I just throw them in the 50-cent box there, dollar boxes underneath my table over here for sorting, and they sit there. Sometimes I go back through and I'm like, holy crap, this card here is now like a $50 card. I didn't know. I very rarely go through it, but ever since all this stuff happened, like I was finding LeBron inserts, and I was like, "Holy cow!" That was in my like in a box I had just like price on back or something set onto it, and I was like, "Wow, these things are just super high." And that was like that marbles cards, him, Kobe White, and stuff like that. I try to bring a variety when I do the shows. I have two display cases I put out that I have my little boxes on the side. And then my other part of my table, I'll usually have a giveaway, some sets, stuff like that down there. And now with sad part is I'm going into non-sports cards, and the only reason is because you can get them and people like them. I'm talking like Magic the Gathering and Garbage Pail Kids and stuff like that, just to bring to the shows and see if people are still interested in that stuff. If not, they just go sit in my closet for years on end. I haven't probably been to a card show where I've been a spectator in probably a year now. Every time I want to walk around the show, if I'm not, Chad's not in here, is he? No. I'm gonna say because if I was set up by like Chad or somebody like that, I wouldn't mind having them watch my table. I go around. Normally, I'll pack up about an hour before normal close time and try to walk around. But that was the idea behind the store originally, was to push a lot of that stuff in there because I don't set up at a lot of shows each year. I probably set up, if you take my three, and I'll probably set up in Lexington like two or three times max. And a lot of people are always asking, "Oh, when you set up next with your boxes or this and that?" Now I just say go to the website; they're on it. And at one time we had like 400 cards on there, and they just went completely, almost dropped down to like 100 and something at one time. Now I'm trying to wait for PSA to get stuff in. Like I'm actually working two PSA orders to ship out tomorrow because one's one of their quarterly specials. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about those because unless you were a collector back then, people just don't know. They think it's just some common card that they found, and whenever they picked up a estate sale or whatever it may be, or bought somebody's collection out. And that's one of the biggest things that are out there now is think about when you joined or started collecting sports cards. I started collecting sports cards in 1984. That just shows my age. I'm 42. So I know pretty much everything that went out except for probably a patch from like 96 to 2002 ish, where I didn't really collect a lot. I was buying and I just threw them to the side, mostly Jordans. That's all I would look for. Um, then I started picking back up heavily in like '03, maybe '04. Then I stopped again around '08. No, yeah, around '08. Deployed a couple times, came back, and I was still buying boxes, but I just never opened them. My whole idea was to have a one night just when I came home, have all these boxes and drink a case of beer and open them. And I never made it to the opening part. I just would drink beer, but we went to bars. So all that stuff just sat from that I bought in '05, '06, '09, 10, and 12 and 13. Those years there. A lot of people were like that, Derby. Yeah, but a lot of people they do. They take breaks from the business or from the hobby, whatever you want to call it. Like for me, I was breaking a lot from 2016 through. Wait, I take it back. 2017 really started breaking a lot through the end of 18 and a little bit of 19. But with that, you used to be able to get whatever you wanted to break. Then all of a sudden, in 18, stuff started creeping up. You started losing allocations and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you were like having to buy a Bowman box for like, $150, $180 a box. And by the time you would break it, ship it, pay for postage, pay for fees and all that, you know, it was fun to do like a case a weekend then. I couldn't push three or four because you would wrap your Friday night the whole way through Sunday just sorting, shipping, and breaking, and there was just not enough there to keep it going. That's why I don't mind doing the small breaks to where it's a couple hours. It's fun to do, fun to sort out. When you start doing heavy products like out in Ginter, as soon as you open that case up, the first time you're doing it, you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. But through the years, you're like, my gosh, this is like 2,800 cards I have to sort and ship. I can see why a lot of people just break NT, flawless, stuff like that too. It's a quick break, quick ship, and you can do many of them a night. When you start doing Bowman and stuff like that, unless it's HTA, you're probably an hour and a half per break. Versus if you did NT, you could probably break three, four cases in at least an hour and a half. And that's what's still filling them while you're breaking and stuff. But nowadays, you go out and buy a box for $400 and you pull a $10 to $15 card. That's your high one. It's hard to even try to grade stuff to get your money back out of the box. Oh man, I was telling you guys I stopped for med, taking an allergy pill. Man, that thing is it felt like it's like stuck in the bottom of my throat. No matter what I drink, it doesn't want to like push it down. Just like horrible thing. This is like the worst time of the year. Usually like April through beginning of June for me down here. My allergies. That's why a lot of times you'll see when I'm looking at for doing stuff for breaks, I'm looking at like the overall thing, like what you can pull versus your average spot price. Clearly, Authentic's a great product. I think now Museum is tamed down in price. That's a good one too. No, I have not bought any Project 2020s. I I feel it reminds me when Topps started off with that weird set. I forget what it was called, like a year or two ago, and it's just not something I want to sit there and put a lot of money into. I think it looks cool, but I just don't know if down the road, maybe 5, 10 years from now, people are like, "Oh man, Project 2020." Now the cards are all hyped up. You just never know. You are correct, Charles. It's 100% correct. And that's like, if you guys don't know, like, anybody could go out there and get a license to get stuff, not like from David Adams or Blowout, okay? If you go out there and get your federal EIN number, which is basically like a social security number for a made up business name, you take that paperwork, go to your state, get a wholesale license. That means you do have to pay taxes on anything sold within your state, okay? You could go to like GTS, Peach, Southern Hobby, and you can get an account. And you can buy your stuff a little bit cheaper than what you'll see on David Adams and stuff. If you buy a lot, you start getting what they call an allocation for pre-orders. So, um, example, let me think here. Bowman Chrome or Bowman, this new 2020 Bowman Jumbo. It's like everybody's selling it at like 450 a box. If you had allocations for it, you probably paid about a buck 50, buck 60 a box, somewhere between there. So anybody could do it. I mean, it's out there for anybody at all. You don't have to have a storefront, nothing for those. Now, per deck, you have to have a real brick and mortar store. And online, I don't think they weren't allowing online businesses back in the day. But trust me, if I could have got an upper deck account, it was game on. I liked hockey. But a lot of problems with hockey is you're going to get a lot. It's not against people from Canada. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind shipping to Canada, but when with the prices now to ship first class with tracking to Canada, a package I think it's if it's under 12 ounces is like 11 bucks. But a lot of your people for hockey is going to come from Canada too. And to be honest, that's what I did with a lot of my Prism. I'll open it myself. I took No, they have not asked for allocate or pre-orders on Chronicles basketball. I have no idea on that. I still got a package from Virginia. It's stuck in Louisville. They called me up. The girl called me yesterday from Vine Grove, and she's like, "Oh, we don't have it here." I said, "I know you don't. It arrived in Louisville. Why are you calling me?" So she's like, "Well, I'm going to forward this up to them." I'm like, "Yeah, this they'll probably never show." And the thing is, I got post office lost like 4.5 billion last quarter or whatever it is, million. I don't remember. I think it's billion. But whenever you're losing stuff all the time and everything, that's on you. I think that if the post office goes away or loses a lot of their stuff, and we all have to start using FedEx or UPS for shipping, ooh, that's going to be expensive for people. I think Chronicles basketball doesn't that always come out? Comes out late somewhere. Let me think about this. I think it's September it comes out because towards the end of the year is when we'll hit. What's the last one? Is it Flawless? No, it's Immaculate Basketball is the last one of the year usually. But I haven't seen anything about it at all. I don't even think I even have anything on. Let me look here on my account. I'll tell you now. Uh, I know Immaculate comes out, and it'll be out like whenever 2021 stuff's already like three or four products in, which is I think Chronicles can't be June. I don't think it'll be July. Let me see if I can find it here. It made me sign in for my phone, so it'll take a second. And I gotta skim through everything. I use the word Chronicle. Chronicle Basketball last year release date. You were right, June 28th. They have not pushed anything out at all onto it. Mmm. I know what it was last year. Okay, so last year, Chronicles Basketball 17-18 came out end of January 2018. Was it that it? Yeah, then 18-19s came out right after that, like 6 months later. Because I know Sooner was breaking Chronicles Basketball. No, it wasn't Chronicles Basketball. It's been something else. It was one of the other products where they just released it and then they were already asking for fills on another one. That's not it. I don't know what it was then. Yeah, there's nothing on a new one. Football comes out Friday. I didn't get any of it. I was steering away just because of a lot of the low end product they just throw in there. I like the Crown Royal part with the patches, but that was about it. You got Chronicles football this week on Friday, Mosaic Hobby next Wednesday, and then next Friday is the fast break for Mosaic. And then the 29th is Contenders Draft football and Bowen baseball. And I can tell you now, June is slammed. They need to really change a lot of those dates because products going to be fighting with each other. Like a Wednesday Panini basketball date and then Friday another one. Yeah, I wasn't. I liked whenever they came out with Chronicles baseball the first year. I remember us pulling a Judge Redemption a lot. And then the Bellinger. I think Bellinger was one. There was somebody else, maybe Devers. Might have been. And then when basketball came out, we broke 17-18s. Man, we had some Tatums in that too. Wow. Remember, a gold standard was like out of like 50 or out of 25. We pulled one. And last year, I only got a couple boxes because people asked for it. I usually go all in on Prism and Optic, and I was on Mosaic until it went completely ballistic on prices this week. Hey, have a good dinner, David. Thanks for coming by tonight. I figured I'd come on for a little bit chit chat with everybody, go over those products, talk about the national for a little bit. I was more just been thinking since Monday night's little Zoom conference that we all did, where everybody was talking about the hobby, the hobby, the hobby. I'm like, dude, it's not a hobby anymore. This was turned into a strict business 2 years ago. Hobbies are supposed to be affordable, but unless you go out and you have the luck of the Irish into a box and like basketball and pull a low numbered Zion, you that would probably pay for your breaks or boxes for at least a year if you want to go buy back into high end stuff. But man, some of that stuff's just hard. Yes, I have. It'll be going up Friday. I have to pick it up from the UPS store. They didn't ship it to my house. Um, it is a box of 2019 Museum Baseball, 3 boxes, a clearly authentic. It'll be the random team type deal again, but what I'm going to do is everybody that gets into the break, whether you get something or not, I'm going to rate them at the end for a little surprise at the end. I found I'll just put it this way, it's a hobby box I found in the back I forgot I had. And it's a 2020 hobby box too. Had a look. So as soon as I'll probably put the break in the store, but it'll show sold out. And once I have it in hand on Friday, I'll release it. Have a good night, David. And the weird part was I was trying to get orders in from Monday and Tuesday, and every time I turned around, see GTS distribution, they have one, two, three. I think it's like six sites or seven, and I couldn't get all product from one site, and it was just irritating me through the week. Or I'd be like, he's like, "Oh, we just sold out of all of it," and I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me!" So today I finally found where I can get something that's all from one location because we get spreadsheets from them and they've been sending them out like two, three times a week, but everybody's just buying so much off of them that it's just hard to tell whatever's in. I will say I do like museum. A lot of people, I wouldn't like it at $350, $400 a box, but once it creeps down after sitting around for a while, it's a good product. There are some great patches in it. They got those what do they call it, the USA cards into it. No, I was online with it, and when it hit like 670 a box, I threw a couple in my cart, and I was like, man, nobody, I'll just wait it out. And I happened to walk upstairs, grab some water, come back down. It went to 650 a box and sold out. And if I was everybody on Dutch auctions, man, I'd be waiting until it hits the bottom rock dollar price and everybody just go at it. I was comfortable at like 600 a box for Mosaic, but I was really looking for to dip down lower than that. I knew I was in trouble. You know how they have that meter on there and stuff of how much is being sold. When I started seeing it selling around 700 a box, I knew I was in trouble today. I would have loved it to get down to 500 a box, but I've had such bad luck with first off the line that I wouldn't spend that much. Yeah, you do. And I think first off the line, when I was looking at eBay prices, they were like 750 a box. So if you take off, we'll just say graciously 10%, I don't know how those guys are going to make a couple bucks a box. Either that or they canceled everybody's orders on there and raised their prices up today. That's my problem is with NT basketball. You know those are selling like I think they're like $3,000 $4,000 a box. I know what I got my boxes at, and we'll just say they're well under 1,000. I'm at the point to where do I hold them and wait till they hit $5,000 $6,000 a box and sell them back to distribution company, or do I just take a wild stab and see what's in them? I know a lot of people were waiting until it got lower because when I came back downstairs saying they were sold out, within 30 minutes my Facebook was blowing up, people complaining about it. No, it's not. I blame Transcendent for a lot of it when they started having freaking $25,000 cases. I can understand spending $25,000 on like a box of 71 tops, but I don't see it on buying a Transcendent baseball. I remember whenever I started breaking NT on all the sports, they were like about 350, 400 bucks. They might raise up a little bit, but that wasn't much. Now you get that stuff on pre-order, and I mean it's really rationed out to everybody. I would even say like a big time breaker is lucky to get eight 8 cases on pre-order from one place. 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 8 ca A lot of them have to keep rebuying in from. There's a thing called dealer net. If you have a dealer's license, dealers are on there all the time flipping wax and stuff. And a lot of them buy a lot of the lower end stuff and flip it on there. Like, well, Leaf it really won't matter, but I see Leaf Trendy on there already. But a lot of products to where they'll mark it up like, I don't know, top series one or something like that. They'll buy like 10 cases of it just so they can keep, hopefully helps them out with Bowman, but they'll put it all on dealer net, basically like $50 over their cost, and that's about it, plus shipping. No, they don't. It's really hard, especially with anything that has a cutout into it with a jersey or a patch. That flashing around it counts as edges and surface both. So that's a hard one to grade. With that being said, I would only grade something if it was like this year's basketball. If it's one of the top four rookies, I'd probably grade it just so I'd have peace at mind if I'd sell it that somebody could not return it saying that it had some kind of, I don't know, what's a common one, like the acetates with their surface, or, the edges on it weren't perfect, or corners. So it's a thick stock. Oh, it's hard to get a 10 on those. I've had it come back as a 10 before. Deshaun Watson's rookie year, I mailed in four RPAs. Two of them came back nines. One was a 9.5/10, and one other one came back 10/10. But when you look at the majority in the pop report, they're all nines. Well, you have to go BGS on thick stock. There's just no way around. You don't do those with PSA. PSA is more like if you see something wrong with the auto, like a break in it or something like that, you might just send a PSA. Same with like how that Luca is here. I would have never graded that BGS. I'd send it to PSA. Just because you have a better chance of getting a 10 out of it and worth more than a BGS 9.5. BGS I reserve for more of my thicker cards or something I need back quickly because I need to get rid of it because I'm not too sure of it. And now this year, I'm wondering with Bowman coming out in the lag, if you pull a Dominguez or a Witt, do you send to PSA and just wait it out? Or do I just send to Beckett through somebody I know and do a 2-day or a 5-day service and get it back quickly? Oh, yeah, they will. I used to run all kind of weird experiments back and forth. Like I had a Aaron Judge X Factor rookie auto. Mailed it in. This is no joke. Came back like a 9.95/10 9 or something like that. It averaged 9.5, but they gave me a 9. I took it out. This is no joke. I wiped the card down because I figured maybe there was a fingerprint or something. Maybe I just missed on it. Sent that sucker back in. It came back quad 9.5. After that. I was just like, nope. Oh, that's how that first Bowman, isn't it? Though. I guarantee you, those guys. Because what PSA's doing when I talked to the rep last week, if you're getting a 1, 2, 5, anything like I think it's a 10-day or under through their services, those are getting done immediately where they're supposed to. Anything it's like 20-day and up is just, it could take forever. So I guarantee you those guys there spent like either the 75 or $200 a piece to get those things graded. because I mailed stuff out before the first edition was released at the 30 day, and that stuff still ain't even logged in the computer yet. I'm almost willing to bet that with all my 30 days that I sent out, I will get my collector's value quarterly value special number two back before I get any of those other ones back. Just because the way they explain how they come in, how they put them on these tables, are not tables, but these bins. They're labeled, and they basically work. I guess backward, forward, the way they were explaining to me. And I was like, well, where do the value ones go? They're like, they have their own separate one too. And I was like, huh. But I mean, at $8.88 a card for the '80s cards, hey, if they want to take 4 or 5 months, I can wait. All it's going to mean is that eventually down the road this year, we'll have a lot of PSA cards coming back in. Oh, they also, let me see if I can find the email. Check this out. I'll show you guys. I ordered some of these. Nope. Must have been last week. Leave Trinity. Oh crap! I probably put it in the folder. Let me find it here. You if you're a PSA person, you're gonna like these. I thought this was kind of cool. Is that Yahoo? Yep, I need Gmail. There we go. And nope. Ah, crap! I keep on getting all these things back. That's WWE. Well, what? They're not showing me. Oh, here it is. See if I can get that pulled up there. These are Ultra Pro stands, and it probably won't focus good for your PSA cards. I thought that was kind of cool. The way they're just tilted a little bit to show them and everything. So I ordered 3 packs of them. There'll be 30 of them total. I am not a fan of SGC. Uh, it's really not. It's great for displays for the cases. It's better than these plastic ones. I got tons of these plastic ones I got from BCW. I mean, they're great for just throwing something up and they can hold a top loader or whatever. But one's built for PSA, I think is cool. SCG, I'm just not a fan of. I would have got them back in the day, but with their new labeling, I just don't like it. And to me, if I'm going to send a big value card into SGC for it to come back a 9 or a 10, it's just not going to get the value I would with BGS or PSA. I'd rather wait it out. I know a lot of people have been sending a lot to SGC recently, and they've been pretty quick turnarounds. It's just I'm just not really a fan of the holder at all with them. I guess the font to me on their label just gets to me. Now, back when they had like how the PSA like typing or whatever you want to call it, format of typing was on it, and they used to be like SGC 96 or SGC 98, stuff like that. I like that, but the new way they're doing it, I'm not a fan. Yeah, I won't use anybody but PSA or BGS. Back in the day, you had like GMA and all these other card companies wanting to grade, and man, there was so much shady stuff going on. I'm not saying there wasn't anything shady with PSA and BGS, but still, they've held their reputation over time versus a lot of others. Huh. Send the lower end cards to them, huh? I guess, yeah, you could. I would just rather do a bulk sub at $10 a pop on my lower end and wait it out for the more value. I mean, I guess you probably get those back from the time you mail it to you get them back probably about a month versus PSA being 6 months plus. Most of the rooms that I'm in, a lot of people won't even play with SGC either. A lot of them will get into it, like say they see like an SGC 6 like Jeter foil or something rookie, they'll get them, but they're sending them straight to PSA to get more value out of them, and praying it comes back a PSA 6 versus SGC. Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I don't even know if I'd send lower end to. I might. It would probably have to if I started seeing more of the stuff fill easier in the rooms I'm in, whether it's razzing or selling, then I probably would. But a couple of the rooms I know guys that do them constantly, and I'm just like, I don't want to, a 2019 tops Vladimir Guerrero no number. It's a SGC 10. It'll probably come back at PSA 9. There's been so many theories on PSA with their high end. Look at the Henderson rookie card, PSA 10s, how many there are. It's just amazing. Out of all, how many have been graded? Same with like Montana rookies and stuff like that. But I'm trying their conspiracy theory thingy out that everybody talks about. I'm gonna try to mail in close to 1,000 cards this year, and then put some high end in there, just to see if it come back better grades than what I think it would or not. At least the 88's here. Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm gonna send these in for 888 a card. I'd look see where they are. Two Sandbergs, and these I pulled all myself. The Nolan, but see the top here wasn't cut in that corner right, so it has that little like thing there. 89 Griffey. I think that was the best 87 Donruss Ryan I've seen. Some Ripken FF Sirs. Johnson has the Marlboro on it. Some Griffey rookies. Then I'm gonna throw some 86 tops trade in there for my set. Yeah, that could be it too. They need to start being more transparent if they're going to compete with everybody else. I mean, they're in third, but there's not too many people under third, though. With their turnaround times being so good, you'd think they'd start gaining some leverage onto it. But I don't know how quick they're going to get flooded and not have the graders too. Like if you look, PSA will not grade a star card from the '80s. They don't have the people for it. Only BGS will, because they don't have the smart people to tell between if it's a counterfeit or not. And I was told that straight off the bat from PSA at a show. You are right. The weight is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But as soon as you see that thing shipped and you got tracking it, what they told me was people were having tracking numbers, but they weren't shipped out yet. And they were so far behind on shipping. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I talked to that person on the phone. But because I probably talk to him every other week. But with it, they were like, yeah, we had stuff that was, marked for shipping last week. It still hasn't gone out yet. And people were like, why is my stuff not shipped yet, but I'm tracking? But I get it. I mean, they can't run a full house, but I also explained to them they should be running 24-hour operations too. Oh, this dog is just out. I don't know if you guys can hear her in the mic or not. She's like under the desk, just snoring out. She wanted to play for like an hour today. Now she's just done. If I roll her, I might be able to get a grumble like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm going to stick heavily with PSA this year, unless it's something I want back from BGS or it's a thick card. Other than that, PSA is going to be just the waiting period on, or unless it's a very expensive card PSA, because the pricing onto that with what the value of the card is isn't worth me grading. Spend $225 on the card to get graded when I can get graded by Beckett for same day at half the cost. They do. Yep. And they pay for that too, but they do. You got Sappy does. If you look up Sappy, I think it's grading or something on Facebook. He does both Beckett and PSA, and so does oh Subhub done by Dusty Baker. They're both very very good. With Sappy, he lives right next to BGS, so he's always good to run it there and back once they open back up. Hey, thanks for coming by, Derby. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. I've heard that name before. I don't know why. I honestly, the only reason I use those guys because I've known who they are for a long time. Back when Breakers TV was Vaughn TV and stuff, and they just been around for a while. But I will send a lot of my own stuff off. See, with PSA, say you have like 20 of these, right? They are going to grade them and put them back in order that same way, all 20 ways, which I kind of still think is kind of odd if it's not numbered. So, like, if they were all base PD Alonzo's, whatever the first one was in the stack, that's how it's coming back to you. Or Beckett's not, and that's a little bit harder on those guys. They got split orders up on that stuff. Oh yeah, I pay the money for Sappy. I think he's like $4 a card to look it over and stuff like that. Might be something I missed, and it's just the second set of eyes before it goes to Beckett. Like I knew there was a printer line in my reddish gold select rookie auto out of 10. Man, I was like, I don't think it'll come out at all because I was looking at it and it's just that printer line. There's no way. He set it back with a big red thing around it, the picture, and I was like, yeah, good, just set it. I'm hoping for a 9. Heck, those have been at theirs for almost a month as a 10-day. And they even pushed into population because I keep looking every morning to see if my stuff got graded yet. Because the reddish is the easiest one to find because that's out of 10. There's only 2 graded out of it. So once I see another one pop here, I know all my stuff's graded. I think there's a video by Dusty Baker out there. I don't remember what he called his group originally. It's now Subhub, but he showed how to wipe down cards on your. That's where I picked it up at, and it's you could use a little bit of something onto it to help bring out the shine, take out a little of the blemishes on the chrome cards, but that's about it. Anything that's not chrome, you just can't get fixed. Otherwise, you're altering the card. Well, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I didn't realize it was already after 9 o'clock here Eastern time. I didn't realize I've been on for an hour and a half. But I'm going to call it a night here tonight. I will do the giveaway on Friday again, post a video for that, and I will post a break in the store too. Ah, perfect. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to have to run too. It's getting a little bit late, and I'm starting to feel the effects of this allergy medicine here. But I appreciate everybody stopping by. Have a good rest of the week. Friday, I'll put the giveaway video out. It's another hobby box, and I can't remember what it was called offhand. And then we'll put the break in the store, and we'll come live again Saturday night and do the break just as normal. Other than that, everybody have a good night. If you have any questions on the new releases and stuff like that, feel free to hit me up, Facebook or email, whatever it may be, and I'll try to answer the best I can. Other than that, I'm going to call it a night. Take care, everybody, and thanks for stopping by. Hey, if you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I forgot to plug that earlier. You always got to plug, they say. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.